The Price of Betrayal, complete story in 3 parts. Welcome to Heart's Obsession. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Part 1, Shattered Vows. The Perfect Illusion. Maya Chin stood before the floor-to-ceiling windows of their penthouse, watching the city lights flicker like fallen stars across the skyline. At 32, she had everything she'd ever dreamed of: a thriving career as one of the city's most promising architects, a husband who turned heads at every social gathering, and a life that looked perfect from every angle. 5 years of marriage to Daniel Hart had been everything the fairy tales promised, or so she thought. The penthouse itself was a testament to their success. Minimalist furniture, expensive art pieces, and the kind of sophisticated design that made visitors whisper in admiration. Maya had designed every corner of it, pouring her heart into creating their dream home. Daniel's tech company, Heart Tech Solutions, occupied the floors below in the same building. They were the power couple everyone envied. Maya touched the diamond necklace at her throat, Daniel's gift on their 4th anniversary. "To my brilliant wife," the card had said. "You make everything possible." She'd cried happy tears that day, feeling loved and cherished. How naive she'd been. The anniversary surprise. Today marked their 5th anniversary, and Maya had planned the perfect surprise. She'd cut short her business trip to Singapore, turning down a lucrative meeting with potential investors, just to be home early. In her bag was a gift she'd spent months preparing: architectural plans for the dream vacation home Daniel had always talked about, along with a positive pregnancy test she'd taken that morning in her hotel room. Her hands trembled with excitement as she rode the private elevator up to their penthouse. 5 years together, and soon they'd be 3. She imagined Daniel's face when she told him. He'd always said he wanted children when the time was right. Surely now, with both their careers flourishing, the time was perfect. The elevator doors opened with a soft chime. Maya stepped into their home, her heels clicking on the marble floor. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. Daniel's car had been in the garage, so she knew he was home. "Daniel," she called out, setting her luggage by the door. "Honey, I'm home early." No response. But she heard something, a sound from their bedroom. Laughter. A woman's laughter that definitely wasn't coming from the television. Maya's heart began to pound. She told herself there was a logical explanation. Maybe Daniel was watching something on his phone. Maybe he had the contractor over to discuss renovations. Maybe. The world shatters. She pushed open the bedroom door. Time stopped. Daniel was in their bed, the one she'd chosen, with sheets she'd picked out, with someone else. But not just anyone. Her younger sister, Jessica. 26-year-old Jessica, who Maya had helped put through college. Jessica, who she'd introduced to her social circle. Jessica, who called her every week saying, "I love you, sis." They hadn't noticed her yet. They were too caught up in each other, too comfortable, too familiar. This wasn't a first time. This was routine. "Daniel." Maya's voice came out as a whisper, but it shattered the moment like a gunshot. They sprang apart. Jessica's eyes went wide with something that looked almost like triumph. Daniel's face showed surprise, but not the horror or shame Maya expected. Instead, he looked almost relieved. "Maya." He didn't scramble for clothes or stammer explanations. He simply sat up, utterly calm. "You're home early. That's all you have to say?" Maya's voice was rising now, her entire body shaking. "That's all you have to say?" Jessica wrapped the sheet around herself, Maya's expensive silk sheets, and had the audacity to look annoyed at the interruption. "Might as well tell her now, Daniel. We were going to anyway." "Tell me what?" Maya looked between them, her mind refusing to process what was happening. Daniel stood up, pulling on his pants with casual ease. "Maya, sit down. We need to talk." "Sit down?" Maya's voice cracked. "You want me to sit down? In my own bedroom?" After I catch you with my sister? See, that's the thing, Daniel said, his tone almost condescending, like he was explaining something to a child. It's not really your bedroom anymore. And she's not just your sister. Jessica and I are together. We have been for 2 years. The words hit Maya like physical blows. 2 years. 2 years. That's impossible, Maya breathed. 2 years ago, we were happy. We were planning our future. You said you loved me. Jessica laughed, actually laughed. He never loved you, Maya. God, you were so blind. It was always about what you could do for him. The cruel truth unfolds. Maya sank onto the chair near the door, her legs giving out. What are you talking about? Daniel walked to his closet, pulling out a fresh shirt as if this was just another business conversation. Your architectural designs, Maya. Your connections. Your family's money that helped me start HeartTech. Your brilliant ideas that I borrowed for my company. You were useful. Very useful. But love? No. Each word was a knife. Maya couldn't breathe. The Riverside Project, she whispered. The one that won you the Innovation Award last year? Your design. Modified slightly, but yes. Essentially yours. Daniel shrugged. You always were talented, Maya. I'll give you that. Maya's mind raced backward through their marriage. Every late night she'd spent helping him with presentations. Every design she'd shown him just for fun that had somehow appeared in his company's portfolio months later. Every investor she'd introduced him to from her father's business circles. You used me, she said, her voice hollow. We used you, Jessica corrected, stepping forward. The sheet had slipped, and she didn't bother to adjust it. Do you know how exhausting it was, pretending to be your loving little sister? Always Maya this and Maya that. You were so perfect, so successful. Dad always loved you more. This is about Dad? Maya's voice rose in disbelief. He loved us both. He left you 70% of his company shares when he died. Me? 30%. Even in death, you were his favorite. Jessica's voice dripped with venom. But guess what? Daniel's been helping me sell my shares strategically. We've made millions. Your precious inheritance? We've been living off it while you worked yourself to death. The room spun. Their father had died 3 years ago, leaving Maya the majority stake in his real estate development company because she'd worked alongside him for years. She'd assumed Jessica understood. She'd even offered to split everything equally, but Jessica had insisted she was fine with the will. It had all been a lie. The depth of betrayal. The Singapore trip, Maya said suddenly. You sent me on that trip. You insisted it was important. Daniel smiled. We needed time to pack. Jessica's moving in today. Your things are already in storage unit 247 in the basement. I had my assistant handle it. Maya looked around the bedroom, her bedroom. Everything of hers was gone. The photographs, her books, her jewelry box. All erased as if she'd never existed here. The company? She asked, though she already knew the answer. HeartTech is mine. Your name isn't on anything official. All those designs you helped with? No paper trail leading to you. You were just the supportive wife, remember? Daniel's eyes were cold, calculating. Your father's company shares that you put in joint accounts? Already transferred. The prenup you signed? Very thorough. You'll get nothing. Maya's hand went to her stomach, to the secret she'd been so excited to share. She felt sick. I want you out by tonight, Daniel continued, checking his watch as if she was just another appointment. I've had my lawyers draw up divorce papers. Sign them, and we'll make this easy. Fight me, and I'll destroy what's left of your reputation in this city. Everyone will know you as the woman who couldn't keep her husband satisfied. The jealous sister who couldn't handle her family's success. Jessica moved to Daniel's side, and he wrapped an arm around her waist possessively. They looked like a couple in love, or at least, they looked the part. Maya realized with stunning clarity that she'd never seen Daniel look at her that way. Why? Maya's voice broke. Why marry me at all? I told you. You were useful. Your designs launched my company. Your father's connections gave me credibility. Your beauty made me look good at social events. You were the perfect wife, obedient, trusting, blind. Daniel's smile was cruel. But Jessica? She's my equal. She understands ambition. She doesn't waste time on sentiment. Maya stood on shaking legs. She looked at her sister, her baby sister, whom she'd protected from bullies in school, helped with homework, celebrated every achievement with. Did you ever love me at all? Jessica's answer was simple and devastating, no. Rock bottom. Maya didn't remember leaving the penthouse. She didn't remember the elevator ride or how she got to her car. She drove in a daze, tears blinding her, until she found herself at a small park where her father used to take her as a child. She sat on a bench as the sun set, her whole world in ruins. Her marriage was a lie. Her sister hated her. Her father's legacy was stolen. Her career was built on designs now claimed by Daniel. She had nothing, no home, no family, no future. The pregnancy test in her bag felt like a weight. She pulled it out, staring at the positive result. A baby. Daniel's baby. The thought made her stomach turn. As darkness fell, Maya made a decision. She wouldn't tell him. She couldn't bring a child into this nightmare. Tomorrow, she'd handle it. Tonight, she just needed to survive the pain. Her phone buzzed. A text from her mentor, Victor Kane, the architect who'd given her her first job out of college, heard about your early return. Coffee tomorrow? I have something important to discuss. Maya stared at the message. Victor had been like a second father to her after her dad died. But she couldn't face anyone right now. She couldn't. Another text, Maya, I know. About Daniel. About everything. Meet me. You're not alone in this. Her hands trembled. How did Victor know? How could he possibly? A third text, and this one changed everything. Daniel Hart destroyed my daughter's life 5 years ago. The same way he's destroying yours. It's time he paid. Are you ready to fight back? Maya read the message 3 times. Victor's daughter, Catherine. She'd moved away suddenly, right around the time Maya had met Daniel. Victor had been devastated but never explained why. Now pieces clicked into place. She'd been Daniel's first victim. Maya was just the next in line. Something cold and hard crystallized in Maya's chest, replacing the shattered pieces of her heart. She'd spent the last 6 hours drowning in pain and betrayal. But Victor's words sparked something else. Rage. The awakening. Maya wiped her tears and typed back, where and when. Victor's response was immediate, my office. Now. Bring everything you have on Daniel's company. Maya started her car. As she drove through the city lights, she caught her reflection in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were red, her face tear-stained. She looked broken. Good. Let them think she was broken. But as she pulled into the parking garage of Victor's architectural firm, the company that had launched her career, Maya felt something shifting inside her. The pain was still there, sharp and raw. But beneath it, anger burned hot and bright. Daniel thought he'd destroyed her. He thought she'd crawl away and disappear, just like Catherine Kane had. He was wrong. Maya grabbed her laptop bag and headed inside. It contained 5 years of emails, messages, design files. Everything she'd backed up out of habit, never thinking she'd need it as evidence. Victor was waiting in his office, looking older than she remembered. But his eyes were sharp, calculating. Tell me everything, he said. And Maya did. She laid out the entire nightmare, the betrayal, the stolen designs, the financial manipulation, Jessica's involvement. With every word, the fog of grief lifted, replaced by crystal clarity. When she finished, Victor nodded slowly. Catherine tried to fight him alone. She failed because she was isolated, ashamed. But you're not alone, Maya. And you're not going to fail. What do you mean? Victor pulled out a thick file folder. I've been investigating Daniel Hart for 5 years. Waiting for the right moment, the right person who could help bring him down. He's made enemies, Maya. Powerful ones. People he's cheated, stolen from, destroyed. They're ready to act, they just needed a catalyst. Me, Maya whispered. You. You have evidence. You have intimate knowledge of his company. You have motivation. And you have something Daniel never expected, you're smarter than him. You always were. Maya looked at the file, then at Victor's determined face. The broken woman who'd walked in here was disappearing, replaced by someone harder. Someone who'd learned the most painful lesson of all: trust was a weakness, and love was a weapon. What do I need to do? She asked. Victor smiled, a cold, calculated smile that promised retribution. First, we rebuild you. Then we destroy him. Every lie, every theft, every life he's ruined, we expose it all. We don't just beat him, Maya. We erase him. Maya thought about Daniel's smug face, Jessica's cruel laughter, the way they'd casually thrown away 5 years of her life. She thought about the home she'd designed being stolen, the baby she'd never tell him about, the future that had been ripped away. And she felt the last pieces of her old self die. When do we start? She asked. Tonight, Victor said. But Maya, understand this, revenge isn't clean. It will change you. Are you sure? Maya remembered Daniel's words, you were useful, but I never loved you. She stood up, straightening her shoulders. I'm sure. As she left Victor's office hours later with a plan, a new bank account, and resources she didn't know existed, Maya looked at the city skyline. Somewhere up there, Daniel and Jessica were celebrating their victory, thinking they'd won. They had no idea the war had just begun. And this time, Maya would be the one who'd take everything. Part 2, The Calculated Comeback. The Transformation. 6 months after the world imploded, Maya Chen walked into the Grandeur Hotel's annual Architecture and Innovation Gala. But this wasn't the same Maya who'd driven away from her destroyed life with tears streaming down her face. This woman commanded attention. She wore a midnight blue gown that hugged her transformed figure. Months of channeling rage into gym sessions had carved away softness, leaving sharp edges and defined strength. Her hair, once long and softly styled to Daniel's preference, was now cut in a sleek bob that framed her face with severe elegance. Diamond earrings, bought with her own money, not gifts from a lying husband, caught the light as she moved. But the real transformation was in her eyes. Where once there'd been warmth and trust, now there was ice and calculation. Chen, welcome. The event coordinator rushed over, practically tripping over herself. We're so honored to have you here. Everyone's been talking about your Riverside Tower project. Absolutely revolutionary. Maya smiled, a practiced expression that didn't reach her eyes. Thank you. I'm pleased with how it's progressing. The Riverside Tower. Her design, the real, complete version that she'd shown Daniel years ago but had wisely kept the full plans for. She'd built it with Victor's backing and a consortium of investors who'd jumped at the chance to work with the mysterious Chen. In 6 months, operating under the gender-neutral Chen designs, she'd become one of the most talked-about architects in the city. No one had connected her to Maya Chen Hart, the divorcing wife of Daniel Hart. She'd made sure of that, using her mother's maiden name on all paperwork, keeping her face out of publicity photos, letting her work speak for itself. But tonight, that would change. Re-entering their world. Maya swept through the gala, accepting congratulations and making connections. She knew exactly who was here, she'd studied the guest list like a battle plan. Investors, rivals, journalists. And somewhere in this glittering crowd, Daniel and Jessica. She spotted them near the bar, holding court with a circle of admirers. Daniel looked confident in his tailored tuxedo, Jessica draped on his arm in red silk. They looked happy. Successful. Untouchable. Maya's smile sharpened. "Excuse me," a deep voice said beside her. "But you must be the famous M. Chen. I've been hoping to meet you." Maya turned to find a man in his late 30s, devastatingly handsome with dark hair and eyes that held secrets. She recognized him instantly, Alessandro Romano, Italian billionaire investor with a reputation for making companies and breaking them with equal ease. "Mr. Romano," Maya said smoothly. "Your reputation precedes you. As does yours." His smile was knowing. "Though I must say, the photographs don't do you justice." I'd heard M. Chen was brilliant. No one mentioned beautiful. It was a line, smooth as silk, but Alessandro's eyes held something else. He was part of Victor's plan, an investor with his own grudge against Daniel Hart. A rejected partnership proposal from 2 years ago that Daniel had mocked publicly. "Flattery, Mr. Romano?" Maya accepted the champagne he offered. "Alessandro, please." "And merely observation." He gestured toward the crowd. "You've caused quite a stir in our industry. Several companies are very nervous about your next move." "Only several? I'll have to work harder." Alessandro laughed, genuine and warm. "I think we're going to get along wonderfully. In fact, I'm looking for an architect for my new international resort project. $3 billion budget. Interested?" Maya knew this was coming, they'd arranged it. But she played her part, letting interest flicker across her face. "That depends on the location and creative freedom." "Full freedom. Multiple locations." And Alessandro's voice dropped conspiratorially, "I believe in rewarding brilliance appropriately. Unlike some people in this room." His gaze flickered toward Daniel. "Intentional. Calculated." The conversation had gotten loud enough that people nearby were listening, whispers starting to spread. M. Chen and Alessandro Romano in discussion. A $3 billion project. The kind of news that traveled fast in their industry. "Shall we discuss it over dinner this week?" Alessandro asked. "I'd be delighted." As Alessandro stepped away, Maya saw Daniel's head turn. He'd heard. Good. The first confrontation. Maya was examining a display of architectural models when she felt someone approach. She didn't need to turn around to know who it was. She'd recognize Daniel's cologne anywhere, she'd bought it for him for their first anniversary. "Excuse me," Daniel's voice was smooth, charming. The voice he used for impressing clients. "I couldn't help but notice you across the room. I don't believe we've met." Daniel Hart, Hart Tech Solutions. Maya turned slowly, her face composed in polite interest. "Mr. Hart. I've heard of you." The recognition hit him in stages. First confusion, then shock, then something like panic flickering across his face before he masked it. "Maya? It's M. Chen, actually. I've reclaimed my mother's name." Her voice was cool, professional. "How have you been, Daniel?" He recovered quickly, she'd give him that. The shock disappeared behind a wall of confidence. "You look different." "Thank you. Divorce agrees with me." A muscle twitched in his jaw. Around them, people were starting to notice the tension. Jessica appeared at his side, her eyes widening when she saw Maya. "Maya? Oh my God, I didn't recognize you." Jessica's voice was too loud, too bright. Fake concern dripping from every word. "We've been so worried. You just disappeared." "Did you?" Maya's smile was sharp enough to cut. "How thoughtful. Though I imagine you were too busy enjoying my home to worry too much." Jessica's face flushed. Daniel put a hand on her arm, a warning. We should talk, Daniel said, trying to regain control. Privately. Should we? I can't imagine what we'd have to discuss. Maya glanced at her watch, a platinum piece Victor had insisted she buy. Besides, I have meetings. Alessandro Romano and I are discussing a $3 billion project. I'm sure you understand how it is when you're in demand. She watched the words hit him. 3 billion. Alessandro Romano. The project Daniel had desperately wanted 2 years ago and been rejected for. That's my project, Daniel said, too quickly. Romano and I have been in talks. Had been in talks, Maya corrected gently. Past tense. He's decided to go in a different direction. He mentioned something about preferring to work with architects who have original ideas rather than stolen ones. I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it. The crowd around them had grown quiet, people pretending not to listen while hanging on every word. Daniel's face was turning red. You have no right to. No right? Interesting choice of words, coming from you. Maya's voice remained perfectly calm, which made the words cut deeper. But you're absolutely right. I have no right to discuss your business failures at a social event. How rude of me. Jessica, lovely to see you. That dress is stunning. Is it from my wardrobe, or did Daniel actually buy you your own clothes? Jessica's mouth fell open. Daniel grabbed Maya's arm, but she jerked away immediately. Don't touch me, she said quietly, and there was such ice in her voice that he actually stepped back. Maya walked away, leaving them standing in a circle of whispers and curious glances. She could feel Daniel's eyes burning into her back. Perfect. The business trap. Over the next 3 months, Maya systematically dismantled Daniel's professional reputation. But she did it so carefully, so subtly, that he couldn't prove she was behind it. It started with the Renaissance Project, a major commercial development that both their companies bid on. Maya knew Daniel's strategy because she'd helped develop his bidding approach years ago. She knew exactly how he calculated costs, how he presented proposals, what shortcuts he took. Her bid came in at exactly 3% lower than his, with innovative sustainability features that made Daniel's proposal look outdated. She won the contract. Then there was the Tech Field Center renovation. Maya submitted a design that incorporated elements she knew Daniel would copy. She'd seen him do it with her work for years. When his proposal came in 2 weeks later with suspicious similarities to hers, she quietly notified the selection committee. An ethics investigation was launched. Daniel wasn't disqualified, not enough proof, but the whispers started. Did he steal ideas? Was his previous work really his? Maya also used her father's old connections, the ones Daniel had exploited during their marriage. She had lunch with board members, casual coffee with investors. She never badmouthed Daniel directly. Instead, she'd say things like, I learned a lot from my marriage about business ethics, specifically, what not to do. Or, it's amazing how much my design style has evolved since I started working independently again. The implications were clear. People began asking questions. But Maya's masterstroke was the industry board review. Using evidence Victor had helped her gather, she anonymously submitted a complaint about Heartftelt's recent projects. The submission included side-by-side comparisons of Maya's original design files, timestamped and verified, with Daniel's completed projects. The board launched an investigation. It would take months, but the damage was immediate. 3 clients pulled their contracts, citing concerns. 2 investors backed out of deals. Daniel's company stock started to drop. The desperate man. Maya was in her new office, sleek, modern, with a view of the river that Daniel's office didn't have, when her assistant buzzed her. Ms. Chen, there's a Daniel Hart here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment, but he's quite insistent. Maya felt a thrill of satisfaction. Send him in. Daniel looked terrible. His hair was disheveled, his suit wrinkled, a far cry from the polished businessman who'd so casually destroyed her life. He entered her office like a storm, full of barely contained rage. "What the hell are you doing, Maya?" She didn't look up from her computer. "Working." "What does it look like?" "You know exactly what I mean. The bids, the investigation, turning my investors against me, this is you." "Is it?" "That's a serious accusation. Do you have proof?" Now she looked at him, her expression neutral. "Or are you just upset that someone's better at business than you are?" Daniel slammed his hand on her desk. "I made you. Everything you have is because of me." Maya stood slowly, her eyes cold. "You made me? Interesting theory. Let's test it." She pulled out a folder. She'd been waiting for this moment. "Here are the original files for the Riverside project. The one that won you the Innovation Award. Timestamped, with my signature design elements. Would you like to explain how my work from 6 years ago ended up in your portfolio?" Daniel's face went pale. "And here," Maya continued, pulling out more files, "are 14 other projects. All originally mine. All somehow appearing under Hearttek's name. I have emails, drafts, witnesses. I have everything, Daniel. You can't prove." "I can prove all of it. The question is, do I want to? Right now, I'm content watching you squirm. Watching your company slowly fall apart. Watching investors lose faith. But if you push me, if you come into my office throwing tantrums, I will bury you." Daniel's anger crumbled into something else. Desperation. "Maya, please. We can work this out. We were good together once. We were never good together. You used me. There's a difference. I made mistakes. I know that. But destroying my company won't change what happened. Can't we just move on? Forgive and forget? Is that what Catherine Kane got to do?" "Oh yes, I know about her. Victor Kane's daughter. The woman you destroyed before me. How many others, Daniel? How many women did you charm and use and discard?" His face told her everything. There had been others. "Get out of my office," Maya said quietly. "Maya. Get out, or I'm calling security." "And Daniel? Stay away from me. Next time you want to beg, do it through your lawyer." He left, defeated and desperate. Maya sat back down, her hands trembling slightly. Seeing him broken should have felt better. Instead, she just felt empty. Her phone buzzed. A text from Jessica, "Please call me. We need to talk. I made a mistake." Maya deleted it without responding. Some betrayals didn't deserve second chances. The truth surfaces. That evening, Alessandro took Maya to dinner at an exclusive restaurant. It was partly business, they were genuinely working on the resort project, but also part of Victor's plan. "You're distracted," Alessandro observed over wine. "Daniel came to my office today." "Ah. How did it feel?" Maya considered. "Not as satisfying as I expected." Alessandro nodded. "Revenge rarely is, once you achieve it. The anticipation is better than the reality." "Speaking from experience?" "Always." He smiled. "I once spent 3 years destroying a business partner who betrayed me. When it was finally done, when he was ruined, I felt nothing. Empty. The revenge consumed me so completely that when it was over, I didn't know who I was anymore."